Welcome to Regeneration X the 90s for our first ever in-studio, all parties on deck. It is November of 1992, Thanksgiving edition. I am thankful to be joined in studio. Cass, welcome, live, in person. Let's do this thing.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm ready to go back in time.
Wesley, how you doing?
You know what it is, man.
What
it's
is
a
it?
Beautiful day in the neighborhood, and just got better.
Just got better. Well, this episode we're thankful to have another #1 on the charts. We're finally something bumped off Boys to Men on the charts, so we're looking forward to that later.
We've come to the end of the road.
They've come to the end of the #1 spot.
They'll be around for a minute.
Yeah. John Cicada, new #1.
We'll see. Somebody needs to have his whiskey ready. John Cicada.
He does.
That's right. As always, we're going to start with the events of November 1992, and in what is labeled as the revenge match of the decade, revenge match of the 20th century. Bobby Fischer defeats Boris Spassky to win in an unofficial match in Belgrade.
USA.
Cool little story about this where he just lets him wait for so long before he shows up, and we're not going to dissect a chess match here today, but
Bobby
hey,
Fish had that drama.
yeah, but
Bringing the drama.
It was a bit of a prick, wasn't he? Like,
That's my understanding.
that is my brief understanding as well. I can't speak on it too much. I mostly just know him from the title of a Lawrence Fishburne movie that was very good. But
Finding Bobby Fischer. That was
Yeah.
a pretty good movie.
yeah, it was.
It was.
But that's actually my biggest association with him.
Yeah.
Most
for sure.
I mean
He
most
beat
of
a
his
computer, right? Wasn't he like the first person to beat like the IBM computer? Or
Was that him? He
something?
beat the... Sure. I remember that being a thing.
most of his
fact check this later.
yeah, a lot of his claim to fame came long before '92. I think it was the '70s where he was the big name in chess
In chess.
and retired.
You guys any good at chess?
I'm good enough to play you, but I'm not. I don't play regularly enough to have like my own strategy.
Yeah, whatever.
Or
I know how the
I'm
pieces
just
move.
I'm just winging it every time.
I'll play you.
Yeah.
Mark Avery. Shout out to Mark Avery. He destroyed me one day on my lunch break. I think you guys maybe have both heard this story, so I'll spare you. But I thought that I was good at chess because I was competitive with my mom, and I should have known.
She was
Like-
letting you win.
Okay, so maybe,
Maybe, right?
But I'm going in the break room at work, and my man Mark Avery sitting there chilling, eating his lunch with a little chessboard on the table. And he's Wes, you play? Hell yeah, I'll play you. And I did, and proceeded to lose 3 or 4 games in less than 10 minutes for sure.
For all 3 or 4 games.
It probably took longer for him to set that board up than it took for
Ooh.
him to beat me. It was horrible.
I'm not saying I would have done any better, but yeah, some people are good.
So I was just kind of being quick. It wasn't like one of those speed things, but I was kind of being quick. But he wrecked me. Those matches were over. He knew what I was doing before I was doing them.
Before you knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
he was a couple steps ahead of you.
Yeah, a few.
That's what I remember from that Bobby Fischer movie was, the kid telling the guy he was one of the final scenes.
Yeah.
He stands up and tells the kid, "I've already beat you. Do you
Right,
want
yeah, I remember that.
Do you want to concede?"
That's right, yeah.
And the guy's like, "No," and he's like, "All right, well, in 10 moves, I got you," or
Yeah,
whatever
it's a
it
wrap.
was.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Love,
Yeah, that was a good
love
movie.
that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
love that part. Those kind of parts. Now, we're not one to just forget to talk about things and forget them
Okay.
here on this show, right? So months ago, in the early months of 1992, I told you guys about New York Yankee pitcher Steve Howe on how he was forever permanently banned from baseball for the 7th time. Okay? All right. November 12th, New York Yankee pitcher Steve Howe is reinstated.
Nice.
So Pete Rose is the only person who's actually banned from baseball.
Further giving the argument that maybe we should take it a little easier on Pete Rose in the grand scheme of things. But yeah,
Sure.
you know,
Who's that, LaRussa? What's his name?
Yeah, now this
Tony
is actually,
Rosen.
so here's how Hal had a long career. This is how in the late 70s winning winning a game in the World Series against New York, who he would later go on to play for. He's going to speak later on the troubles with drug addiction. So, try to enlighten people on the topic.
How's he doing now?
Not good.
Not good.
I don't think he
Is he alive?
I don't think he's alive much longer than this. We'll have to fact check that one as well.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think he has a happy ending to his story, unfortunately.
Rest in peace.
Yep. In other across the pond, as it were, November 12th, the British TV comedy.
6 o'clock in the morning.
Absolutely.
FL!
Yeah, I was wondering if you guys would be familiar with this.
Hey, I'll get drunk with you, ladies.
My mom loves this. She always loved it from day one, so I'm mostly, a little nod to her.
Those are my girls, man. No doubt. I say that, not really.
I should give it a try in modern times. The humor just escaped me in '92.
British humor's a little different.
Yeah.
It's an acquired taste. It's
My
hit or miss
in-laws
for me.
love, I believe they watch more British television than they watch
Well,
American television now.
sure. My baby mamas. I say that jokingly, right? So, let's call her my first ex, Jennifer, the mother of my oldest, loved this show. Just loved it. So I got, semi-fond memories of it.
I've never heard of this. What is this again?
Absolutely fabulous.
Absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
It had a long run. I did not check the seasons on this, but went away for some time, and then even within the last, I want to say 5 years, they decided to come do another season
They made a
together.
movie.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew they came back together for something recently.
Yep, absolutely.
It's like...
That redhead's always been cute to me.
Yeah,
He's cute to me.
yeah.
Yeah. You looking good to me right now, bro?
All right, so back in America on November 13th, Riddick Bowe is going to win the undisputed world heavyweight boxing crown with a unanimous points decision over Evander Holyfield in Las Vegas, the first of their 3 meetings. So this is Bowe Holyfield 1.
I know this was epic, but this was all anticlimactic because
If it went to
no
points,
Iron
that
Man.
already tells me that.
Mike Tyson's gone. Heavyweight ranks are. This is like the beginning of the end for boxing for me.
Oh,
For a downward
Holyfield
spiral.
looks rough.
Yeah, Holyfield took a beating, didn't it? But I guarantee it went. It went to a decision. Is that right?
It went to points, and Bowe wins on points.
It went to points because Holyfield does not give up. Holyfield's a bulldog, bro. I got nothing but respect for that man. I really wasn't paying attention to boxing.
Yeah, when
I knew who both of them were, and I respect them.
Their names were... The boxing names, I feel, were bigger back then. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just disconnected from it. I know more, even though I don't watch UFC, I know more UFC fighters' names than I do current boxers. But back then, you knew Riddick Bowe, you knew Evander, you knew Mike Tyson. You knew these guys.
this is sort of the big 3, you would say, of the early '90s. Bowe, Holyfield, Tyson. They're gonna
Then throw Foreman back in there because he reemerged
Yeah,
for
when
a little
Foreman
bit.
comes back in his, 40s or something, he came back in?
Sure. When did Lennox Lewis start showing up? Was that late 90s, would you say?
maybe. Who beat Tyson to give him his first?
Douglas?
James Buster Douglas. Yeah.
Oh, that's the one where Tyson spits out his mouthpiece when he's crawling to the corner, right?
I don't remember.
So Buster Douglas
beat him in Japan, and it was one of those random things where he's going to fight Buster Douglas while he's preparing for, or probably organizing the Holyfield fight or something along those lines.
So we never get
Tyson
that.
on a random night gets beat by a guy you never heard of, Buster Douglas, whose name will now live in infamy. Isn't the right word because he's not like a villainous figure in this story. But to me, he is.
Well, he was one and done, right? Didn't Douglas lose his first title defense?
Holyfield probably went and smacked him around one night. They say Tyson just wasn't with it that night at all. It was a perfect storm. And not taking anything from Buster Douglas because he was a bad man. It takes a bad boy, even on a bad
to get in the ring with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, let alone beat him, even if he is having a bad night.
He was having a bad year.
He was having a bad year.
Well,
Robin! Arr!
Well, hold on now. You can't just... Team Tyson on all this?
Yeah.
Is there evidence that I don't know about?
Yeah.
He was,
one of them is Mike Tyson. One of the people in the story is Mike Tyson, Daniel.
but I think he was not a good husband to Robin or something like that, right? Okay.
What makes a good husband?
Not.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm about to get into defending something that's probably undefendable.
And I'm defending a woman who I only know from a television show. So
I feel free to edit this, but in my head, when I hear Robin
taking the Dave Chappelle route here, well, what did she do?
Right. Yeah, no, you remember that Mike Tyson movie, and Tyson famously to me in that movie talking to her and her mom because her mom was apparently hard to deal with. Also, is I hate all you bitches, especially you. I love it. Feel free to beep 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 beep.
Yeah, I was thinking I've got to learn how to do that. I got to learn how to.
And Tyson cussed her out.
We're on a tape delay here, or
feel free to edit that. But Mike Tyson had to cuss her and her mama out, and because of that, I blame her. And even if it was just a movie, I ride with Tyson. I ride with Tyson. I ride with Bruce Lee. I ride with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, that's fair. That's a smart move.
Right. I ride with with The Rock. The Rock is in there as well. But sure, whatever. Buster Douglas is a villain. All that said. And boxing stopped being interesting when Tyson was gone.
Dateline NBC airs a demonstration show on General Motors trucks, saying that they will blow up on impact. As you see, it was rigged.
That's some buttery bull, yeah.
And it was rigged, and later revealed that NBC revealed rigged the test, and so they had to.
How much did
they had to do some real backpedaling? They were trying to simultaneously apologize for lying, but trying to there was some factors that we weren't aware of and whatnot. So we didn't mean to lie to you, but
they've done
what?
People were being burned in these pickups. They never would have bought one for their 16-year-old son.
Michelle, is GM prepared to do anything about this?
Well, I think it's doubtful that GM will do a voluntary recall since.
Suing NBC News over a story carried on the network last fall. We now face.
So, here we go.
Is that Cronkite? What's his name?
Let's see if it.
We now face
Dan Rather.
a poisoned
Dan Rather.
I can't remember. That's not Dan Rather.
Those are the only two names I know.
Yeah, I'm confident this. I remember what Dan Rather looks like.
Waiting to explode.
General Motors oh no.
Sparking devices on the trucks, but the network said the sparking
that show should be off the air.
To do with the resulting fire in the demonstration.
Sparking devices.
That's pathetic. Yeah,
they did I don't know if it was this same show or not, but the what was the Isuzu Rodeo or one of those small SUVs?
A similar thing.
Well, they kept saying they were a rollover hazard, and they kept trying to do this road test to prove that they would roll over, and they couldn't get the thing to roll over, so they had to actually rig the SUV so when they did the test it would roll over, and that was the footage that they used.
Look what happened.
And I thought this was a guy with a sniper rifle off camera, ready to shoot the truck's gas tank to
That'd be
rig it up.
According to our experts, the
what is that news guy's name?
Oh, maybe
it's not Dan Rather or Walter.
I know, but he's been around, hasn't he? He might still be around.
Was he on Dateline? He needs to not be around if he was spreading fake news.
Well, he was the one.
He was the one.
He had
direction.
Oh, okay.
He was the fall guy for it. We're
yeah. By the way, we're a bunch of liars.
My colleagues have made stuff up for ratings.
For dramatic. Whatever.
So, and here on November 20.
Name that guy.
It's not fair. I'll tell you, I could have never named him if I didn't.
That is so clearly Bob Packwood.
Well done. Well done. You should do this in studio more. Your guessing raises exponentially. So, in a story about how the more things stayed the same, I guess. We'll just leave it at that. Senator Bob Packwood issues an apology for unwelcome sexual advances. He ends up stepping down. The reports Bob Packwood sexually harassed 10 women during his tenure.
Was it that lady in the
Senator.
yellow dress?
Hashtag me too.
Who's that? She looked familiar.
That's his wife, standing by her man.
Bob Dole's like, this is my bro that you're talking about here.
Bob Dole defends her?
Yeah, he's like,
He said, well, what did she do?
So, again, not to make this a political podcast or video.
We're talking
or
politics.
anything.
What do you do?
We're talking about this. So, Bob Packwood, I'm guessing, is a Republican.
Okay.
Because it always seems that it's the Republicans that these types of stories come out on. They seem to be the ones, and especially if Bob Dole is defending him, he was a Republican.
What's McCain doing? McCain's defending him also?
look, as a borderline Republican, I was and a former, as a Ronald Reagan lover, right, who just made me decide to be Republican when I was too young to even know, right? Right? Listen, you can be.
I like Ronald Reagan too.
Yeah.
We share a name.
You can skew conservative and not be a terrible person. I know it's hard to believe in this
possible.
day
Whatever.
and age.
The three of us do.
Yep.
Kind of.
I
Yeah.
believe I'm the most liberal out of the three of us.
And it really kills
think?
me that you're right.
Maybe. Maybe.
It hurts me that
I
you're
don't want.
right.
I don't want to get into these. Things.
This is for a whole different show. But yeah, you're right. He was Republican Party. I wanted you to be wrong about that one just because, but
Because Democrats don't rate people. When you see Clinton going
the next name on the screen. Well, there goes my theory. I
So,
can see myself
okay.
out.
so you want to say that about the
Republicans because they always rate people.
And on cue, my big event of the month it is November, of course. So we got a new president in 1992, and that is one Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
It's Al
Yeah.
Franken. Yeah.
I don't know about you because I know you were also a Letterman fan. Every time I hear Bill Clinton, I see the robot shooting lasers at the fries that David Letterman used to do on his show. Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
think I remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this. All I see is one suave dude up there doing his thing.
Let's take it to the next
I
level. of
always
suave.
hated how he held his thoughts.
Who?
Bill Clinton. When he would talk, he would.
Did not sexually.
Is that right? I had a girl once tell me that that's the way I needed to address people. Because I'm a prick sometimes, particularly in like our meetings. She said I would like point at people.
Oh, so it's just take your hand off the trigger.
Yeah,
right?
she
Is that
said,
what
yeah,
that is
bro,
doing?
you got to stop that. And she started making
This
me
is
do
how
that
we
with my
talk
thumb.
to
So I'd be like
people.
talking to people.
I know.
Not start that crap.
I,
Elena does it now.
I know you guys have mentioned
Daddy.
me going to Disney, and I didn't know why they did this, but I noticed at Disney that all of they call them cast members,
Yeah.
always point with two fingers.
Is that
Everything
right?
to do with.
So it can't be construed
Because-
as rude, huh?
Yeah, one finger in certain cultures is very
So many
offensive.
jokes setting up in my head right now until you finish the story.
These two fingers. are
How much work are you going to put me through? As
Please finish telling me the story about how two fingers are better.
Well, because one finger is offensive, all Disney cast members, when you go to Disney, you'll see them always pointing.
I've missed doing these shows live.
Cool.
So the Daniel embarrassment counter has resumed
Sure.
after many months.
Yeah, let's put that on the bottom of the screen. We're going to start.
We'll have to do this for the live episodes
Well,
because
before
Wesley is
you
a
derailed us, Daniel, Cass was pointing out how the Disney princesses like two fingers.
And there you have it. These are your events of November
Look
1990.
at pretty Hillary.
Young Hillary.
God love her. The mafia queen.
I got any more footage? Nope. All right.
Disney princesses like two fingers. That was a good one.
Yeah, that's not making the show.
God.
So much work.
That'll be on the blooper reel that you and I have to cut together because Daniel's not going to be able to sit through it.
Not to pull back the curtain, but as editor of the program, there's really a lot of work doing these in-house, these full in-studio episodes. But they're worth it. They're worth it. And it'll be worth sticking around because coming up next, we got television in November 1992.
Grimace's room looks like a pig pen.
Does it, Ronald?
Well, it does need a little work. I'll help.
Oh, my!
We fixed it. Now it looks like a pig pen.
We believe in magic.
McDonald's proudly rolls out 8 exciting new wacky rollers featuring your favorite Tiny Toon Adventure stars and showcased by our lovely spokesmodels.
This has gone too far.
One vehicle with each Tiny Toon Adventures Happy Meal you buy.